Welcome to the Turn One Studio podcast. I'm Eliud Custodio with Turn One Studio, and here we sit with local business professionals. Today's guest, super exciting, Ryan Reilly from Sandler. Ryan, welcome.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. I've been looking forward to this for a while, so finally getting in the mix.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we're psyched to have you here. First things first, for those who don't know, what is Sandler?
That's a really good question, and Sandler is a franchise, so everybody knows that, but what they don't know is that we all have our own names. So if you really were to look me up, I would be Sandler Legend Development Services, Inc., and we're located here in Long Island. We're actually the flagship here on Long Island, started almost 30 years ago.
Wow, okay.
So what is Sandler? We're a sales training, consulting, and coaching company. We work with CEOs, owners, and sales leaders, as well as individuals when they're trying to really develop great companies, right? Some people think that it's when you're failing. It's not when you're failing, although we could help there.
Sure.
It's more about when you have a great company and you're frustrated because you're just not hitting the momentum that you want to over a long period of time or a short period of time. Other times you're having a lot of meetings, there's a lot of things happening, networking is going on, your people are out there doing it, but you're just not getting the return on investment.
You're busy but not progressing.
Busy but not progressing. And let's face it, blind spots, the reason we call them that is because you can't see them yourselves.
Right.
So bringing in a consultant or coach or a partner like us allows us to identify those blind spots, and whether we decide to work on those together, that's up to you.
Very cool. How often are you finding it that these companies are able to self-identify that they need help?
So oftentimes they'll come with what we call pain indicators, right? Some things that are happening within the company that are on the surface level, observational things where they're saying, hey, we're struggling here, we have a challenge here, but they can't really detail what that challenge is. That's on myself or anybody else who's working with them to uncover what's really happening here. Right? Because let's face it, anybody who brings you a problem, it's probably not the right problem you should be solving. It's the thing that's the most burning.
Okay.
But maybe there's something else under that we really have to solve first. And a real good sales professional, they're going to uncover that with you.
So what are some examples? What are common pain points that you're seeing that are not being seen?
Sure. So, tough question to answer, but one of the most common ones we see are, my people just don't close really well.
Okay.
Right? They don't close the deal. They have a ton. I'm getting so many leads. My marketing team is amazing, and we're dumping trash in the garbage every day because we're just not closing deals. Mm-hmm. Right? And the idea is that we need to bring in techniques. Right? Let me show you how to close this deal, and you're going to do great. When in reality, many times it's an opening statement, not a closing statement. Meaning they're not starting the conversations correct in order to alleviate the pressure on the close. So the buyer feels pressure. Mm-hmm. The buyer feels like they're being sold to. And let's face it, nobody likes being sold.
Right. That gets icky.
But everybody likes to buy.
Yeah.
So how do we create an atmosphere to allow a buyer to buy as we, the sales rep, stays out of the way? So it's not a closing problem you have. Oftentimes it's an opening problem. And that, is hard to uncover until we start working with a team.
Right. Is that primarily with cold calling? Like super top funnel?
No, primarily that's with everything. Okay. Right? The way that you start a conversation is setting the tone, is setting the way we're going to work together, is setting how you're going to get to the next level together. Now, realize the words I'm using, how we're going to get there together, how we're going to work together, rather than I'm here to sell you something. Mm-hmm. That's an I statement, and you're the one who has to listen. Typically, what we find is that doesn't work, right? Pressure, friction. It's you versus me rather than is there something here together we should be looking at.
Right. Very cool. Now, obviously, all industries need sales, and all industries could benefit from sales help. Are there specific verticals where Sandler really shines?
That's I'm laughing because recently I was in a conversation and somebody who's been, around the Sandler network forever, and he's not a Sandler trainer. He does franchise development for outside companies. Mm-hmm. And he mentioned to me, he said, well, I know Sandler is like the best in manufacturing. Like that's what you guys do. And I looked at him and I said, that's interesting.
That's news to me.
I said, I don't have a single client in that world.
Right.
So apparently nationwide and historically, we have done really well in that space.
Oh, interesting.
For Sandler trainers, it's all about deciding and identifying your niche, right? Where do you swim well? And for me, I'm still working on that. So I have some of my colleagues work phenomenal in the financial sector, right? Working with financial advisors, with wealth advisory companies, with banks. That's like their niche, and they really do it well. Sure, can I service them? But is that my niche? I'm not sure yet. What I have found I do really well in is B2C companies, companies who are working with individuals and families. I enjoy that because you're truly helping individuals to achieve something.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect of it. I'm trying to figure that out because I have a few clients in that world. The other world that has just fallen in my lap is technology.
Okay. Like the MSP space?
Not the MSP space. More of the space of people doing like pen testing and cybersecurity.
Okay.
The reason that has really been fun is because most of those companies are small and they're run by individuals who are extremely smart and good at what they do.
Right.
Which means the sales part is foreign to them. So I have the opportunity to do a lot and impact the business a lot in a quick amount of time because there's a lot of stuff that they simply just, it's not that they can't do it, it's that they just haven't been aligned to be able to do it before. Right? They're really good at their job, great practitioners.
Very left
really
brain, not very right brain?
Quite possibly.
Okay.
It's oftentimes that the best practitioners are the worst sales professionals, right? Because they're really good at it doing, and maybe they even talk over somebody, right?
Yeah, we see that a lot in marketing. People assume, well, they don't make any assumptions. They go about as if they're supposed to talk to a peer as opposed to their target client.
You use all the acronyms and all the big words.
Right.
Either over the client's head, or you create an atmosphere where the client feels like they feel dumb to be able to say, hey, I don't understand that, or I don't know what you're talking about. Right. So instead, they bottle it up, they sit there till the end, and at the end, you're wondering, I thought I had a great meeting. Why do they not want to move forward? And it might be because you created an atmosphere that they felt uncomfortable in.
Sure.
So we try to work on that with them, and that niche has been working for me.
Interesting. So when it comes to those tech guys, what's the most common lever? Is it getting them to just listen more than speak? Empathy?
I think a lot of times it comes down to how they look at projects, right? Think about how you look at cybersecurity. This is the problem, this is how we solve it, here's the roadmap and this is exactly what we do, right? There's no gray area. It is, here's the problem, here's how we solve it. And I think that's what happens a lot of times when we're coming to proposal stage, right? It's not a, let me talk to you, find out your problems, and then figure out a custom relation to this. It's more of showing up with, I already know what you need to get to happen here. And that feeling, that mindset, often sets them into feature and benefit mode. Let me show you what I do, how great I am, and how we solve things for people, rather than tell me what you're dealing with so we can figure it out together.
Is there a size company that works best to work with Sandler?
Our ideal client profile sits between a sales team that has between 3 to 10 sales reps. Now, I say that because that's who I love to work with. Anywhere between 3 to 10 sales reps is, I'm making a decent amount of money off it. Let's face it, I'm in this business to make some money.
Right.
But the other side of that is I'm able to really impact each sales rep. I'm able to do the coaching model with every sales rep. In my opinion, training is phenomenal. It works. But there has to be some stickiness. There has to be somebody there to be able to implement that stuff. And oftentimes that's the coaching model. Any more than 10 sales reps, it's hard to be able to coach all more than 10 people in a single company because you lose track if there's 20, 40, 50, 100. So we do take on clients of 3,000. We take on clients that have 500 sales reps. Many times that'll go to what's called our enterprise level, which we have an enterprise team that could come in and help us do that. But 3 to 10 is my wheelhouse. And I love companies that are between that $5 to $10 million mode because that means that they're hungry. They're working towards something. They've established a great company and they're on the precipice of what happens next. And I'm not sure if are you aware of the hierarchy that happens between 5 and 10 million? What has to happen to a business?
I don't want to make any assumptions. Tell me.
So businesses, they can go to that 1 million, even that $5 million mark with the same thing they're doing, right? So a lot of times owner operated. The owner's doing everything. The owner is the face of the company. The owner's the sales rep.
Right.
After 5 million in most industries and most businesses, there's a massive change to the people, process, and strategies, right? You have to add people. You have to have really great systems and processes. And if you ever talk to an EOS guy, he will sing the praises for this, right?
Yeah.
But the same thing goes for sales. Once you get past that point, people hit this glass ceiling and they can't shatter through it because they're trying to figure out, how do I keep doing what I did before and get to that next level?
What
And
got
the
you
answer
here
is,
won't get you there.
you won't, right? So it's about understanding it's time to bring in outside help. How do I see those blind spots we talked about earlier? Without somebody, you don't.
Right.
So I love being part of companies for that portion of it, because you could set a few different processes that maybe they've done their whole lives, but having an outside perspective and changing and tweaking a little things, either a behavior, an attitude, or a technique, and all of a sudden things open up and the company blasts through that $10 million line, and now you're part of the success. Whether or not they give you the success it's never like Sandler helped us do everything here, right? They're going to go.
You're an unsung hero.
We did what we did because we're awesome, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I love living vicariously through those companies.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you guys often start with a systems assessment at what's going on at the top for the trickle-down effect, or are you working immediately in the trenches?
It's a really good question, and the answer is I would love for every engagement to start like that. To really step back and look at what is it that we're trying to solve, right?
Okay.
We call it the 4 S's. Is it strategy, structure, staff, and then skills?
Okay.
Most people come to us with, as you asked earlier, here's my problem, solve it with training.
Yeah.
The problem that I've realized is that oftentimes, especially new trainers, they'll take that business. And if we don't really solve for what's really happening underneath, the strategy, the structure, and the sales, the staff, in order to support really great skills, oftentimes it falls to the wayside. Think about when you send your sales team, or you yourself go to a webinar, right? Or a seminar. You're like, wow, this was amazing. I'm going to change everything I do in my life. Here we go. Tomorrow's my next best day. Tomorrow is usually your next best day. And the next day it falls off a little bit. And 2 weeks from there, you kind of stop doing it. 3 weeks from there, your sales team is doing the exact same thing they did before with maybe 1 or 2 new tricks, right? That's a technique. Sales training somehow got this bad name of being a technique company. Okay. We're not. We look at behavior and attitude first, right? That's the differentiator, because real behavior change takes time. And if you could change people's attitude of how they sell, why they sell, and how they approach things, the technique is the last part, right? It's I need to do what I need to do to be successful. I need to believe what I need to believe. And then maybe I'm not doing it quite right, and I can have a different technique there.
Right.
That's the level.
You're kind of establishing your North Star, and then you're figuring out how to change course to get there.
And that starts at assessments, right? Assessment is how you go from reality, from theory rather, to reality. Right? Theoretically, I can tell you everything that might need to change in your business, but in reality, when we do a real good assessment, we figure out specific areas for every single person on your team in which we can coach to be able to alleviate some challenges and attack some opportunities.
Maybe this is an unfair question, but I'm curious if you have an opinion on this. I've seen plenty of companies that either didn't have a CRM and they want to implement one, or they have one and it's just been stale. Mm-hmm. Some of the biggest challenges I've heard is getting the salespeople to participate from a data entry standpoint, because their argument is, well, we're selling. We don't have time for that. And then the rest of the company's argument is, yeah, but we need to have that in there for what a CRM is for. How often do you see that? And if you see that, what's a common way to get the salespeople on board?
Yeah, you nailed salespeople down pretty well.
Okay.
Everybody says they're selling. Nobody wants to put notes in. In my opinion, typically they don't want to put notes in, because then that's hardwired to the system to say that I didn't have the conversation that I've been telling everybody I had.
It's an exposure issue.
Right, and also it's non-paid time, right? You're not. There's such thing as clock time and paid time. Paid time is you're going towards sales. You're trying to get that new deal, and the other time is all the admin stuff. So recently, what we've seen is that the admin work sometimes allots for almost 60% of the time they're spending, which means your sales reps are only spending 40% actually selling.
Right, that's very inefficient.
Oh, it's very inefficient. So why do we do that? A CRM will help us, but a CRM should be a tool that helps us to enable our team to do better, not slow our team down. Mm-hmm. So what we've seen is, let's get with the times here, folks. Right? Me personally, and a lot of my clients, I push them to use things like Fathom, which is a note taker that also aligns directly to our CRM. So in a meeting, I'm not spending time taking notes, nor am I spending time putting the notes in my system. It is automatically loaded into the system.
That's very cool.
Not only that, it's also able to tell me, hey, here's 3 areas where you could do better. Here's 3 pain points you brought up, and you should ask these 4 questions in order to get the deal from stage 1 to stage 2. However that looks for you. That's the next level of sales.
Okay.
Right? Creating things so that I can spend 70 or 80% of my time selling, and the rest of that is being automatically loaded into my CRM. Now, is it perfect? No.
Sure.
But does it save sales teams a ton of time? Absolutely.
Right.
And
that's a great solution.
any sales team, they're going to fight you on it. I don't want to have to put my notes in. We find if we put this solution in and people go, I no longer have to take notes during a meeting, so I can be present during the meeting.
Right.
And I no longer have to load my CRM up. It's already there. Excellent. Like, that's the way that sales is going. So if you're still loading your manual notes into the CRM, great. I'm not knocking that. That is purposely done for a reason. You have to have data.
Yeah.
You can't measure anything. I mean, you can't manage anything you don't measure. No data, no idea where your business is going.
Sure.
So it is important, but there's ways to be more efficient with it.
Does Sandler have a strategy or a curriculum to help sales and marketing get along better?
You know, that's a really good question. When it comes to marketing and sales, I've never really understood the whole idea that like marketing and sales is somehow against each other.
They shouldn't be. It's just something that happens often.
It happens often. I think that's because of communication.
Okay.
Right? It's that marketing does their thing and sales does their thing. And we'll see many teams that we work with for more than a year, which is typical for us. They'll start bringing in their marketing department to see what kind of messaging are we adding? What kind of value messaging are we changing? How are we changing our conversations? And then aligning marketing to be more like that. That's number one. Number two is if marketing is doing their job well, which a lot of times they are, sales needs to know what they're doing and how to use the data.
Right.
I come into companies all the time who claim their marketing doesn't work. And then I find out that there's a ton of clicks and open and ratios that they've never even looked at.
Right.
They don't even look at the data.
Wasted.
So garbage in, garbage out, right? If you're getting data, you should be utilizing it. But that comes down to communication. Right? Sometimes people don't understand why they're doing it one way, so they just say, well, marketing did it that way, and it doesn't matter for me.
Right.
Everybody plays a part. You have to understand how the parts begin to assume a whole.
Yeah.
And if they don't, that comes down to communication for the company, and that goes back to the owners. Right? They need to show that they really believe in marketing, and they really believe in sales. Right. The moment that a manager says anything like, well, marketing is, man, you have a problem.
Yeah. Fantastic. So how'd you get started with Sandler or sales training as a whole?
I call myself a serial learner.
Okay.
So when I was, many years ago, I was a teacher. And in teaching, I also had 4 or 5 other jobs because that's what you do as an educator here on the public education system.
Okay.
So I was always selling. I was in the restaurant business. On the summers, I was going and building lockers and building things. And so I was always a hustler, right, trying to get into it. And eventually, I decided education wasn't my path, and I joined sales. Now, as a serial learner, my CEO had this wall of books, and he said, hey, anytime you want to come in and read these, do it. So continuously, I kept coming in, grabbing books. And eventually he went, hey, what are you doing with these books? There's no way you're reading all of them. And I said, I am. I'm reading them. I'm trying to absorb them. I'm trying to learn more. So he started picking my brain on, like, what makes sense? And then he invested in me. Okay. He said, hey, you should do sales training. So he got a private coach. He did a little Dale Carnegie for me. He brought people in.
Wow.
And what I found was I loved that.
Okay.
I loved it because I was able to really look at this and say, okay, so you bring other people in, they tell you that they're things, and then you start to absorb. You start to take what you learn in books and implement it. That was where I changed. Eventually, Sandler came up in the conversation. I was able to get my toe into it, and I went, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing that is going to change how I do business. And I started implementing it, and it worked for me. Eventually, I think the conversation went someone like, I'd love to do what you do full time. And I had the opportunity to meet Rich Isaac, who's the founder of the Long Island chapter here, Legend Development Services. And after 6 months of running each other through the ringer, I came on board. So it was just a simpatico thing where Rich was looking to eventually create a legacy for his business. He wanted to not sell or let it dissolve. He wanted to get somebody who he trusted and who thought like him about the business. It turns out I was lucky enough to be that person. So the opportunity arose, and I'll never forget the first time I was able to get on stage. My wife went, "Wait a minute. They're going to give you a microphone and let you go on stage.
Who's this guy?
You're going to love this job." And that was the first time I realized, like, this isn't a job anymore. This is the rest of my life.
Wow.
And I'm going to be able to settle in. And now I get to, my purpose that I've discovered through other webinars is igniting joy. And now I get to do that regularly and consistently if I do my job well.
Sure.
Right? And I get to ignite joy because people who are making money, having fun, and producing growth, they're having fun and they're smiling.
Yeah.
And like that's the moment I knew, like, this is the shit I want to do for the rest of my life.
Awesome. What do you like to do for fun outside of Sandler?
It's a loaded question, man. I do a lot.
Okay.
I am a always go kind of guy. I love being outside. So hiking is a huge thing for me. Tomorrow I'm meeting somebody, a friend of mine, Brian. We're going to be doing a walk and talk. We're hiking Cold Spring Harbor at about 11 o'clock. If anybody wants to join, just show up at Cold Spring Harbor.
I've been dying to do Cold Spring Harbor. That's been coming up a lot lately.
I'll be going to the HILI meeting in the morning, and then I'm jetting out to go hiking at 11. So that's, I love to bring work and play together.
Yeah.
Snowboarding is my absolute favorite.
Oh, so hold on a second. You're doing the hike as a
Yeah.
As a business thing because you're gonna.
Correct. So we've been talking for months about this, that, and the other thing, and strategically being partners. And I said, why don't we actually get together, and why don't we because we also, one of the things we did was talk about physical and getting in shape and doing. So I said, why don't we do both? Right? Why don't we walk up some really crazy hills in Cold Spring Harbor and talk and
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. Okay.
So that'll be fun. Of course, we're getting pizza right afterwards just to
you
get
got to
those
balance it
calories
out.
back. But yeah, that kind of stuff goes. Like snowboarding for me is my number one though.
Snowboarding, okay.
Snowboarding, I feel the most free ever. You're just floating. When you get decent enough at it that you're not falling all the time. Skiing, snowboarding, the speed, the adrenaline, you're flying down the mountain. And now my boys, 9 and 7, are old enough to come with me.
Okay, that's cool.
So like I have these two little awesome people that are with me riding, and that is just next level for me. So I love outside, man. That's the kind of stuff I do. And outside of that, the beach.
Okay.
I will sit by the beach and watch the waves come in all
right, so this
day.
is fun year round.
It's outside, right? It has to be outside, and
And you're a pretty good golfer too.
That's the best term you just used right there. Pretty good.
Well, you're an excellent golfer.
I don't hate golf. I love golf. I think it's a great sport. It is a humbling sport. So if you really think that you're amazing at everything, go golf. It'll be the most humbling situation in your life because you have to concentrate on patience. Right? Every time you screw up, that's the mindset. And I think it might have even been with you. I was like about to hit a ball over the water, and I went, man, I'm definitely going to hit that water. And somebody in the background said, aren't you a Sandler guy? Shouldn't you be better at this positive mindset talk? And that for me was a turning point where I said, okay, I have to actually start living the stuff that I do for work in my professional and my personal life.
Yeah.
And now when I walk up to that tee, I'm all positive in my head, right? Changing the psychology, the mindset to be able to change the behavior. But golf is a practice of patience. And you are going to have the best game you've ever had on Tuesday and the worst game you've ever had on Friday. Welcome to sales too, right? It's the same thing. It's about getting back on that ball. So I appreciate you bringing up golf.
You know what? That was a great way to kind of circle back on this whole conversation. Before we wrap up, how can people get a hold of you?
I'm the Ryan Reilly. I'm here. It's me. Call me on my cell phone. If you really actually want to talk, call me on my cell phone, 631-745-5932. I will pick up. It is not an office, not automated. There's no AI here. Call me. Text me. Get in touch with me. If not, follow me on LinkedIn. Like everybody else, I have a high need for approval. So the more likes and follows I get, I'm going to enjoy that. That's my personality style. So yeah, follow me on LinkedIn because I'd love to find out more about like what are you dealing with and how can we help each other to maximize our potential.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming by, man. This was awesome.
All right. I appreciate you, dude. Cheers.
Cheers.